Recording in progress.
You wait for the stroke of the hour.
The judge usually did, yeah.
You can change the time if you want. Let's clock ahead.
It's almost there. Take time, stand still, wait for county court time, or go on a diet, right?
It's got to turn roll over here any second now. So good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, November 1st, 2023, 10 a.m. And county court is in session. If you'll please stand and join me for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't know how many times in my life I've said that, but I still have to stop and think and make sure I'm saying it right. All right. Haven't heard, but I'm going to say that Commissioner Shellman is not going to be present today, and I don't see that she's zoomed in. Was not unexpected, so we'll say it's an excused absence for the record. First item up then is agenda approval for today's county court session. Haven't any changes?
I don't have any layouts.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda for 11/1/2023.
I second.
Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. And minutes for county court session October 18th, 2023.
I move to approve the Harney County Court meeting minutes of October 18th, 2023.
And I will second. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. And that takes us to the first topic, opportunity for public comment. I believe you guys are on the agenda. Eric, anything?
I'm not on the agenda. Just wanted to let you know that ODOT has put out notification of their lack of budget funds, and I'm aware of it.
Reduced services this year?
Yep. So the biggest concern is P Hill. They're basically going to be at a schedule. They go A through E. E is the least amount, so no overtime. They're only going to hit basically from the Narrows to the Roaring Springs, when and if they can do it. So I'm aware of it. Have had discussions with, the person that we have coming up from the south end to hit to Roaring Springs. And he is, it's up to him, John's retired, semi-retired. And so I greatly appreciate everything that he does. So I've left it open for him. I'm assuming that most of the time, if he sees it isn't plowed from the Roaring Springs on, then he'll try to handle it at least to the top of P Hill. And then I've had discussions with John and Diamond, and he'll try to hit it from the bottom up. So we'll work with them as much as we possibly can. And I just want to let you know that.
Thank you. Thanks. And you gentlemen are on the agenda, so that covers it for a public, I guess. And moving on to old business. And I just keep this on here because we need to we need to be thinking about it, and it's the appointment for a board member to the biomass board. When Commissioner Shellman's president again, work up a strategy on who we'd like to recruit for that. So, and then that takes us to new business, the Training and Employment Consortium, Oregon Youth Corps presentation, Michael Simpson and Tyson Whitney. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here today, and we look forward to hearing your presentation.
Thank you. Well, we kind of went over a whole bunch before
Earlier.
before we even started. So I'd like to introduce Tyson Whitney. He is currently the individual special projects coordinator that is working with the youth now. And so his responsibilities is making sure the crews are full, both the school year program and summer program. And he works with the Forest Service currently for projects, and currently they have more projects than what he can complete in a year. So nothing's new there. This summer we had 10 youth, 2 crew leaders, full time for 10 weeks. 10 weeks or 12 weeks? 12 weeks this year. And so we added a week on. It's usually 10 weeks, and we added a week on the front and a week on the rears of it. And so yes, so that was very beneficial to all the youth that were involved in OYC this summer. Currently, Tyson has 6 youth. He can only work with 5 at a time due to the vehicle, and so he has 1 alternate. And so when one's sick or one has a sporting event or whatever, he calls the alternate. And we are once again here to ask for the county funding that we have been receiving, and we do know that that funding is only available for another 2.5 years.
I think that's about what we, on the current usage rate, I think it was about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I've already processed that. So
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
we appreciate your presence and your presentation so we can hear about the work you're doing. But based on past, the money's there set aside for it. So I just went ahead and processed it. So you guys should be getting it before long.
Okay.
Well, we do like to see you and hear what you told us today and any other time.
Yes.
If you ever want to bring the youth here, works out, that's fine too.
And we could definitely do that.
Yeah, maybe a day during the summertime when your program's in full swing, you have a day that you could set aside and come to county court and hear their perspective of the program.
Yes.
That'd be great.
That's a great idea. And then throughout the year, if you guys want updates or anything and want us to attend a county board meeting just to give updates, or feel free to give us a call. I'm more than happy to come up and do that.
Appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much.
When you, I was going to ask, so you, projects like with Forest Service, and we kind of briefly talked a little bit earlier about fence projects. So what other what's the broad type of projects?
We do a lot of fence projects, thinning projects, for trees. Do a lot of stuff with guzzlers. You familiar with guzzlers? So we maintain those and make sure they're working. We prepare them from the ground up. We built 5 this summer, I think, from the winter. From the snow, it was unreal this last winter. So there was a lot of damage. Here soon we're looking at aspen roots. We pull from the ground so we can go out and replant them and get them more out there. Just a little bit of everything. Whatever the Forest Service can provide us, we get out there. They work with every department. So
Cool. Much with the BLM.
I used to do it when I was on youth crew with him, but I haven't done anything with BLM recently.
That's cool. Just talking about it earlier, it sounds like a really good program.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And getting out there it's a lot better than being behind a desk. I can say that.
Anything else?
No, I appreciate it, and maybe we'll see you or your youth in the next year.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next item on the agenda is just a recognition item for currently serving men and women in the U.S. military branches from Harney County. Being that we're coming up on the Veterans Day holiday, I thought it would be, this is the only option we would have before Veterans Day to recognize them. So that's why it's on today's agenda. But are these additional ones or are these
Those are the same ones.
the same ones? Okay. So I'm gonna verbally recognize these members. Cyrus Mocan, U.S. Army. Trevor Ray, U.S. Army National Guard. Taya Rivera, U.S. Army. Jesse York, U.S. Navy. Daniel Rivera, U.S. Navy. Tatin Ott, Tatin, T-A-T-I-N. Try to pronounce it correctly, but U.S. Army. Wyatt Dimzoff, U.S. Army. Adam Thompson, U.S. Coast Guard. And Paige McLean, U.S. Army National Guard. Being a veteran myself, these are my brothers and sisters, and I value their commitment to our country, service to our country, and say thank you very much for their service.
Thank you, and if we missed anyone, we apologize, and I didn't see any Marines on there, so if we missed any.
I didn't see any Air Force either, so. But anyway, yes, anybody out there that's currently serving active duty, we thank you for your current service. Those veterans who have served in the past, we thank you for your service.
These are dangerous times, and our prayers and thoughts go with them.
So moving on, next item on the agenda is a Franklin letter, request to vacate streets on property. Do you have that letter? Yes. Letter addressed to the county court. You purchased 160 acres, tax ID 47615 from Harney County in April of 2019. This property is in Wellington plot off of the 00 road near the Narrows. And you're asking the county to vacate the streets in this area. There are no actual streets there, only plotted on the map. We use this land to graze our cattle. It is covered in sagebrush and greasewood. Please let us know if we can do anything else to move this forward. I believe you've already had a conversation with the planning department on it. And definitely this is it's just a paper plat is all it is. There's nothing there. So
Yeah, and that map shows a lot, but I highlighted our area, or I don't know if it turned out to be like this, but actually the double oak road goes in on those bottom two parcels are on the other side of the road, but there's a lot of state and county land beside us too.
okay. So yeah, I wasn't quite sure the orientation is the 00 road is to the south, to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
It borders to the
Yeah.
south.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes very long.
I haven't had a chance. I got this letter last week, but I haven't had a chance to really dig into it and see what we need to do.
Well, I remember a vague discussion about it in general, not necessarily in regard to the Franklin's request, but just the fact that these old plots exist in this community of Wellington that doesn't probably have a prayer of ever being developed out there. What with water and other things. So we didn't do it. It was brought to our attention in a vague way some years back. And so if you've spoken to the planning director, I support vacating it, but should we vacate even more than just
Clean it all up.
yeah, I mean, is there any reason I'd like to hear from Brandon, but if he's not available, I'm fine with it.
I don't know, if you look at the maps, on either side of our 160, a state ground is plotted. And then,
Well, there's a little piece of county there.
and there's some county that do have people's names on it. They own those lots. Nobody in our 160 or the state owns any lots, but that one to the farthest to the east, to your right on the map, there are landowners that own several.
So it'd be their legal access is what you're saying.
I'm saying that, yeah.
For them.
Yeah.
So, and that would be my first concern too, is that, you know, vacating this, making sure that we're not landlocking anybody, but I glanced at it.
Get to some of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
So,
Is there any, is there any, I mean, I know it's plotted, but is there existing 2 tracks or roads out there to access any of this?
No.
no,
Okay, and that, and thank you. I was thinking the same thing when I first got it, that if based on where this was at, if we vacated these, if it would landlock anybody else.
Would the, just since we haven't done this before, what is, I don't recall, is it just a matter of the court approving and then in the clerk side of things get, or tax assessor gets changed around or?
I don't know what,
It would,
what,
because we actually show that we, our land is 88 acres and it should be 160, but, or almost 160.
Less the road.
Yeah,
I would propose that we table it for now. And I'll look into seeing what we need to do as far as any resolutions or anything like that, and talk with planning and the county council and find out what we need to do to make it happen.
yeah, the biggest question is do we have to go through the normal proceedings?
Right.
You know, of like vacating a street in Druzy or Crane, you know, of course, you get notified from the property owner. You request that I go out there and investigate it. I come back with a letter and then we have a public meeting. And then at that public meeting, then at that time, you decide as county court whether to vacate it or not in the best interest of the county. So again, with this being the way it is, where we've had discussions before, do we need to go through all those proceedings to officially make it happen? Or just because it's an unincorporated town that's never existed, can we just
Yeah,
do
just
it,
make sure
so.
we, and if legal counsel, I don't know if that's being consulted, but I would say that it is our intent to proceed with it, but we need to
yeah. If you
make
need
sure
to
we know
from
exactly
us,
what we need to do.
Seems like you'd be able to expedite it in a simpler form, but again, I want to make sure that we do it right so somebody doesn't come
It
back.
would be in the best interest of the county to vacate
Mhm.
because we need to check grazing land when we can, and not that at this time, this is a reason someone could come and challenge it, but
Yep.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible when people want to go after something. So,
I will research it, find out what we need to do. And we'll carry it over to old business next time. Hopefully, our next county court session is gonna be November 22nd. Just to coincide with our move the border required meeting that we have to have every 4 months. And also because next week we're gonna be gone to AOC conference.
Week after, yeah.
Or the week after we'll be
Yeah.
gone, but that's when our next meeting would be. So hopefully by that time, that gives me 3 weeks to look into it and see what we need to do.
So if you wanted to get a better visual of it, if you have Onyx maps.
Uh-huh.
And you can go right to it and it will show you our land, the state land, and then the county land where those individuals own those separate plots. Phone doesn't show up, but my iPad does, the individual lots.
yeah, I'm sure Brandon could look those up for the tax office.
I've seen it, but it's been a long time since I've looked at it actually, but it does come up to some extent on the GIS maps.
It's kind of funny that it is the town of Wellington.
Never incorporated.
Very refined community, I'm
I don't
sure.
know, there used to be a map, maybe that was the Meadowland, but it seems like one of the, like, the dean with the realtor used to be here in the 60s and 70s. I think he kind of started it, but I'm not sure.
Well, on the corner of the 00 road just on the south corner of the 00 road and 205, there used to set an A-frame house. And that was the real estate office for these lots to be sold.
But was that the A-frame that was at the fish lake?
And then I think it's the same A-frame that's down across from B&B's Sporties.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but there used to be a real estate agent and I stopped and looked, there's a concrete pad there where that A-frame
Sorry,
sat.
computer.
And, there must have been
It's locked up.
a well or sewer there or something.
Stinking.
That the water is terrible.
Yeah.
So that hampers it,
Yeah.
the, progress of subdividing of that process. I'm sure when they subdivided, it was,
It's locked up.
maybe it was like a Christmas Valley thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. We don't have the fire hydrants like this, but it's very
Well,
similar.
I've
There's
got,
actually a plot for a railroad to go through some of that.
I just, noticed that on the map, it shows railroad right away to the south of it there. Oregon something railway.
Interesting story. Bob Cargill used to lease this property, wanted to buy it, but he contacted the owners of that land where the railway went through, and it was two elderly sisters, and he said, "I'd like to buy that land from you." And they said, "Oh, no, it's worth a lot of money. There's a railroad going to go through there." So they wouldn't sell it to him. I just get on the road 205 and follow downhill is what I.
Yeah, there's 205.
220, I don't see 205 yet.
Well, here's 205.
Oh,
That's-
there's-
So yeah,
Wright's
you go
Point.
south.
Wright's Point,
Then there's the double O road right there.
right here.
So if you zoom in on that ground right there by the road, I think it should come up that way. Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
We're in the middle of the farm.
Yeah. And as you get closer, you'll see people right here on this, that it comes up with individual lots.
So which one is yours?
The one that's,
Middle one.
Oh, in this,
No,
see the blank one, it doesn't,
Right there, yeah.
claims two state.
these
yeah, it
ones?
doesn't show it,
Okay.
but it's there.
Yeah, see, if you look over here, there's these individual.
Yeah.
Landowners.
I'm starting to recall now that in that previous discussion that the county court had some years back, that we all said this is something we should probably
Clean up, yeah.
clean up.
All right. Well, I agree to proceed on it, whatever. Like I said, we'll try and figure it out by the next county court session, what we need to do, get things in motion.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
You bet. Did you talk to Brian today by chance?
I did see him come in.
Okay,
You can go grab him.
now we're running a little ahead, but if he's available.
He's right there.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
We're a little ahead of schedule, but
Okay,
you're welcome to get going if you'd like.
sure.
He's turning his phone down, so if it rings, he doesn't have to buy donuts.
Yeah,
That's the rule.
So the next item on the agenda is update on veteran services. Harney here in Harney County, and Brian Needham, the Veteran Services Officer. And how about it, sir?
All right, well, thank you guys for inviting me. It's a pleasure to come visit with you guys. Just some quick information. We've got about 700 veterans total in Harney County. So almost 10% of the population. Most of those are Vietnam, Korean veterans. We're starting to get more veterans that are younger now. But most of them are still Vietnam era veterans. Since this was from January 1st to September 12th. I've had 350 office visits with veterans. Contacted 980 individuals on outreach visits. 350 phone calls. New power of attorneys with veterans, 25. Claims that we've packaged and sent in 110. New monthly awards in that time frame. This just tells you how far behind the VA is. So out of the 110 that we've sent in, we've had 8 that have been awarded since January.
When you say awarded, you mean awarded or decided one way or the other?
Decided one way or the other.
Oh,
Closed
Disposition
out
on.
claims. Yeah.
closed out claim. And when it wasn't so backlogged, do you have any idea what the rate was in years
So I
past?
just got back from our annual conference. I was at it all last week and they threw some stats out that the average claim a year ago was taking about 180 days from start to finish. The quote from the time I would send the paperwork in until the VA would have a decision was about 180 days. Now it's a year plus. The VA, I just read an article the other day, the VA is losing employees left and right because the employees are so overwhelmed and the VA has put swear for it. Requirements that they process so many claims or look at so many quotas, thank you, a day, and they can't fix it. The interviews they did with some of the either current employees and or ex-employees said that it used to be, a year ago, they would find reason, they would work on a claim and find reasons to be able to approve it. Now they're looking at it and trying to find the first thing they can to deny it. So they can get it off their table and send it back and get more time to work on the other ones.
Is that direction from the agency or the workers just to clear their work?
It sounds like it's what the workers feel like they have to do to meet the quota that they have. And if the workers don't meet their quota, they're being let go. Within, a year, they basically have a year quota to meet, and if they don't meet it.
So it's a cause and effect.
And I would imagine there's some training involved.
Yeah,
For them
yeah.
to be able to function, so to have that
Yes.
high a turnover rate.
Yeah.
It's not good. Sorry to hear that.
So it's slowing everything down. Gets frustrating for the veterans, but we're plugging through it and dealing with it. We've had since from January to September, we've had approximately $14,000 in retroactive money that's come in, and $12,000 a month worth of income that's come into the county. So out of those 8 claims that were approved, those 8 individuals are getting, $12,000 combined per month. So it's helping the economy locally.
Those are in like disability benefits or whatever. Or those are for like disability claims or
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
benefits.
Yeah, where they're getting a check from the VA.
Okay.
And how is it at your end when you are putting together, doing the information gathering, working with the veterans to put forth a claim? How's that going for you?
It's going good. It's going good.
And how about any veterans needs to get to the VA healthcare side of things on the transportation and stuff?
So the VA clinic, medical clinic, has a volunteer program with a van to take veterans. They only have 1 volunteer right now. So the senior center through Dial-A-Ride has a grant to provide free rides for medical appointments for veterans anywhere they need to go. So they've been picking up the slack for the most part. The only issue we have is, and it's a scheduling issue. If they call and say, "Oh, I have an appointment tomorrow," it may not happen. But if they call, most of them know 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and then they're able to schedule and get them to their appointments.
Do you know if they tend to have to go to an actual VA place, or they can go to St. Charles or anywhere else with the
It's a mix.
mix?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is Harney County still in the Portland region?
No, we're in Boise region.
And that is good, and yet it's complicated. Is there an
it-
Oregon?
It can cause complications. One program that the VA has is where if you have a disabled veteran, that needs care in the home, the spouse can apply for that. And the VA, regional VAs kick that money for that. Boise does not want to kick money our way because we're in Oregon instead of in Idaho. They try to keep that money for themselves in Idaho.
How do they go about trying to keep it? I mean, do they just not? They take a long time to ever.
Yeah, we haven't had one approved yet.
Seriously, is that something
Seriously.
that the congressman of the two states could, like Congressman Vance and whoever the one of the Idaho could
Possibly.
possibly work together?
Yeah, this has been I've been there for 3 years now, and it's been an ongoing issue before I even started.
Because I know that I think our US senators as well as our US congressmen, but they always say call their office with an issue, particularly on things like veterans
Right.
and whatnot, and they will try to get on it. So, and if you can make time to do that, I'd encourage that. I appreciate
Yeah, and I've
you know,
got
what you do already, but
Mr. Vince's phone number.
yeah. But sounds all right. Is there anything, so the Veterans Village is a little delayed due to funding issues and things?
Correct. I don't know. I don't have a lot of details on it. Angie Lamborn's been out with medical issues for about 3 weeks now. I think she's hoping to come back at least part-time next week. But I know that there's a shortfall in funding. We didn't get the money from the state we thought we were going to get, or that we were expecting to get. So last time I knew we were between $1 million and $1.5 million short, 1.5 million short. So they're trying to figure out if they can do cutbacks, maybe downsize it a little bit or cut things out of the budget to see if we can.
I wonder if they cut back on all kinds of projects or if we got cut more than we should have.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, from everything I'm reading, I don't think it got cut back statewide because the governor's pushing very hard for housing for both veterans and homeless people, and those kind of cross together.
Right. Well, I know that Representative Owens is working with you guys on that kind of thing. Aside from the Veterans Village aspect, how are you aware if we have quite a few homeless veterans or not too bad out here?
Per capita, we're probably the same as what every other county is. If you go just strictly numbers, I'm guessing somewhere between 5 and 10. But per capita, we're probably percentage wise about the same as what either Multnomah or Clackamas or Marion County is. But
do you know if this is on the VA health side, so you might not have a good handle on this, but for veterans who need some behavioral health support, are they able to get it locally or telehealth or just?
I think it's all, most of it's telehealth.
Well,
how many units was the veteran? Was it 20 units?
20 units. Yeah, it was gonna be 20 units and then one common building that would be kind of a gallery center type thing. Which right now that's off the table. Paving the parking lots, parking areas off the table. Potentially cutting units is gonna happen, but it's all dependent, the grant was written, the federal money that we got was written specifically for a 20-unit facility. So we don't know if the funding is going to be cut if we cut
accordingly
the units. Yeah. And again, those are questions that Angie can probably answer better than I can. But.
All righty.
Well, certainly appreciate the update and what you
No
do for
problem.
veterans. Is there anything that's not necessarily in your wheelhouse that you'd like to see the community try to do in some way, or are we all right?
I think we're okay. We're gonna do the Thursday before Veterans Day, we are gonna do a free lunch for veterans and their spouses at the senior center from 10 to 1, or from 11:30 to 1. I think it's gonna be spaghetti, French bread,
I saw
salad.
that.
So. And out of donations I've received for veteran stuff, we're gonna pay for that. Out of that, to cover the charges. Costs, but. Yeah, I hope to see, I know.
I
both
might
you
try to
guys
get
are
my husband to
veterans,
come in.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
to see you guys there.
Thank you.
That's the Thursday before, so that'd be the 9th.
Yes.
I think
That's
so.
the 10th.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Correct.
Sounds good.
Well, I just, on the agenda, recognized, may have missed a few or whatever, I don't know, but the names that I was provided anyway from, yeah, from the organization up here at the end of the street,
American Legion?
American Legion.
Okay.
That was provided basically by the American Legion for our active duty, Harney County active duty, well, not active duty, but currently, whether it's National Guard or Army or whatever. But I recognize their names officially in the record. Thank you for their service. And I believe, as I recall, you're a veteran as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Well, and I wanted to say thank you for your service
Thank you, and thank you guys for your service.
as we approach Veterans Day.
I
So,
appreciate it.
anything else?
The update. We
Yes.
just wanted to we're gonna be doing the green light, Operation Green Light for the courthouse. So like last year. And anyway, always feel free to get on the agenda if you ever want to brief us on anything.
All right, and anytime you guys want an update, please let me know, and I will. I'm more than happy to come up and give you guys an update.
In any of these issues that you experience, legislative, congressional wise, whatever, that you need to reach out to the VA itself or whatever. If you need a letter from the county court, we're more than happy to generate that up
Okay,
and send it
great.
along with any correspondence you might send.
Great, I appreciate that. Thank you guys for your time today.
You bet. These veterans.
I
Public,
used to see more people there. It's a quiet county.
it's a
court.
We
quiet
don't
day.
win those once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
See ya.
thank you guys.
Public water notices. Next item on the agenda.
This one. It looked like Deschutes County's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Not us. That's for. Well, maybe I was looking at a different one the other day. I saw that it just hundreds of pages of Deschutes County stuff. I get it online in my email.
Oh, I got
So I look at them as they come in there as well. So this might be a little bit newer.
Next topic then takes us to correspondence. As a part of the record, the Harney County Fair Board sent a letter to the Harney County Court in response to our discussion that we had a couple meetings ago. And while I would like to pursue this topic further, I'm going to wait until we have a full county court and have the opportunity to make sure that the Fair Board is aware of that discussion and continue that topic. So, but anyway, just for a matter of record, this letter is a part of the agenda package and is there for everyone to read and review. In addition, correspondence, a letter from the Bureau of Land Management. It's another EA notice, public comment for the this one is for the analysis of impact of developing up to 6 new and expansion of one existing mineral material site.
Yeah.
It looks like the project name is Northwest Malheur Mineral Materials Site. So I'm going to say that looks like it's probably in Malheur County. Not going to have a lot of effect here right away. The potential economic impacts, maybe. Just for public notice. Okay, and that takes us to scheduling. Meeting schedule, second public listening session for the proposed Crane Water and Sewer District will be November 9th, 2023 at 6 p.m.
And I was able to zoom in on the last one, and I think I read most everything. But this listening session is for the purpose of just continuing the answering some questions that arose from the.
Yeah, just continuing the discussion. It would appear that, people just have a lot of questions. They're, want to make sure that they have all their answers before they make a decision on whether they're for or against. I think it's an opportunity for the Crane Township, to get some infrastructure put in, but I also understand their concerns about the regulation of another board and requirements to hook up fees and everything, but it doesn't look like really there's any mandatory connection requirements at the onset.
I know the part I couldn't hear too well and that I'm interested in hearing more from what you find out or whatever is, were some of the people there saying it's an opportunity to help become incorporated, that they wanted that or not? I couldn't quite tell what you were saying.
There was a question posed that if somebody was looking at incorporating Crane, if this was like a beginning step in that process. And the answers that were given out there is nobody is aiming for incorporation.
I would want a lot more information analysis at our level to even know what that means for everything.
Again, I think it's the residents, it's the people who live out there that it's going to affect. So they need to be fully comfortable in a decision. And I don't have any problem with as many listening sessions or whatever that we need. It was mentioned the other day that there seems to be a lot of legal questions, and as much as I'm conferring with county council on those questions, that it might be a good idea to see if we could have our county council zoom in on it and be able to answer those questions right then and there. So I'm going to get in touch with Dominic and see if he can be available for this next one.
Sounds good.
Bring whatever resources we can to the meeting so people can ask the questions. And then county court session, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the week of the 13th, we will be in Eugene for AOC conference. And therefore we rescheduled the second county court session of the month to November 22nd. And that will coincide with the mandatory move the border every 4 months requirement in November, March, and July requirements.
Do you know what how to lead or entertain that discussion? I usually don't do anything in between the meetings, you know, usually the county judge, if there was anything that needed to be done countywide would, but I know that Mike McCarter, of Move the Border, often, he had said in the very first meeting that was held when we had a lot of people attend that he would commit to trying to either Zoom in or come to all the meetings, since he could always provide some update. But other than that, do you recall if there was any topic that?
There wasn't any action items, so to speak, out of the last meeting that I recall. The only thing that we did discuss in the last meeting is that because of the movement and the progress of the Move the Border, and where it resides now, is mostly resides in legislative, whether it's Oregon and Idaho, that they didn't feel that these mandatory meetings needed to be mandatory anymore. And there was discussion during the last meeting of putting it back out to the voters to amend the ordinance, or proposed amendments to the ordinance, to make it not doing away with the ordinance, but amending it to say that something along the lines that meetings could still be held if needed, instead of having to have a mandatory every 120 days or so.
And I remember when Mr. McCarter came and was explaining what the ballot initiative was and all that, and you know, I remember saying that we are a county court that we don't censor things that people want to bring and put on our agenda. We entertain every topic within normal protocols, and that this topic can be put on the agenda multiple times as needed, anytime. And at that time, I didn't really see a reason to make it as prescriptive as it was on when these meetings had to be held, you know, but as you can see, there hasn't been as much attendance or participation lately because it is more at the legislative level.
So I think we'll get in touch with Mr. McCarter. All right, Mr. McCarter. Let him know. I mean, it's designated by ordinance, the dates and times and everything. So month and date or day anyway. So we'll see if you would like to attend, and maybe we'll reconfirm if there's any opposition to putting it out to the voters in the next election.
Yeah.
And amend that ordinance.
Again, we can always meet on it,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
On and on if we need to.
So again, that regular court date, the next one will be November 22nd at 9:30 p.m. Any late items? I didn't have anything. And brings us to general deliberation by the court.
Let's see. Oh, just back on scheduling, I noticed that there will be a Wolf Committee meeting at the Memorial Building next week. And I think there'll be a fair amount of public interest as there'll be a briefing on the current situation of the presence of wolves in our area. And I believe it's at 4:00 on Tuesday the 7th, out at the Fairgrounds Memorial Building. This Saturday is the 4th. This Saturday is the Hospice Gala.
Denim and Diamonds.
Yes, and so I hope people will choose to go to that. It's a very nice event for a working cause. Regarding,
And I caution everybody that during the live auction period, don't talk with your hands.
it happened to me too. So I have to sit on my hands this time, but I got a nice frame. Take care of that. Went to a good cause. We're on the broadband. I have, I've asked the contractors for any of the paperwork for sub-licensing. So the rapid design study tool is live for us for this first year at least, where we'll be doing a lot of the figuring out and having our contractors help guide the discussion at the BAT meetings as to how far can reasonable amount of money stretch, what it, with what we're thinking, what might be the best highest priority or a priority list of what projects to apply for, et cetera. That type of discussion will begin. And Bryce Mertz, our GIS, our economic development person, Ryan Bailey, myself will be having a training next week, Zoom on it, so that we're very familiar with it. My Wave has requested some access to it so that they can do some of their own due diligence on their work toward it. And once I have more information on the licensing, sub-licensing thing and the rules, I'm comfortable with that. I just want to know, what's correct to do in that it's a very much private sector competition on things. So that's all that's going on with that. And November 10th is my core birthday. So happy birthday, Marines, ahead of time. That's all I have.
As a member of the biomass board representing the county, as I mentioned earlier, that we need to find somebody to fill our second seat on that board. But the biomass is up and running this year, providing hot water for heat. And we're in the process of working through some organizational structure stuff. And there's also some opportunity for some grant funding to maybe help with some of the wish items, I guess you'd say. The biomass could really use its own storage facility that would ease up some funds for other improvements or expansion or progress in it. So working on that. HR department here in the county, we are still underway in reviewing job descriptions and working towards our class and comp study for ultimate development of a compensation policy within the county.
Wage and pay scale, et cetera.
Yes. So we're looking at an outside entity to do the actual classification portion of it. Let the professionals do that part, but hopefully it will leave us with a tool that when new positions are created or modified, that we'll be able to assess those positions and classify them appropriately with that tool. It's one of the things we want to kind of is our request to come out of the end of it, not just a classification, but a tool that allows us to do those afterwards.
That's good. It's needed. And glad that's happening.
I don't think I have anything else. The county was presented in regards to broadband and fiber. The county was presented with an application a while back for a franchise application from Windwave.
Starting to vaguely remember.
Yeah, and they submitted an application. I submitted it to county council. He had some more data information that he requested. They provided it, but was not really sure how to proceed with it. As far as a franchise, the county council wasn't even too versed in it. But I have since found a contact within our the consultants with GEODC and that are very familiar with that process and what it entails and everything. So I've got a meeting scheduled with Joe Fresnel to ask some questions and see how we proceed on that and get that cleared up and done.
Yeah, they know what we don't.
Yeah.
Very well.
So hopefully we'll have that done this month.
And I'm going to be reaching out specifically and directly to Harney ESD, the school districts and the library to encourage to see if they can even, whether they're the ones that attend the BATs or should attend the BATs or not, to come by Zoom. The next BAT meeting and first on the agenda, we're going to talk about the program that helps provide some subsidy for internet service to people who are below a certain income level. And really find out from our schools and the library, how do you interact with people? How can you be a way to help get information available to folks that qualify and help work it through, just because that is how equity is looked at in our area, is if we can do that outreach. That is probably one of the best activities we can do. People can do it or not. If there's any sticky areas that make it a little complicated, how can we break down that barrier and be of assistance? And so that'll probably be first on the next broadband action team meeting. That's all I have.
And I don't think I have anything else. Just for a note, for anybody who watches our recordings. This morning we decided, and I checked with the county clerk, that if it was necessary to start the recording when we're just doing the first 30 minutes of accounting, bill pay, reviewing funds, payments and everything, where there's not really any discussion towards decision making. So, and since it's documented through the review process of the bills being paid, that we didn't need to document it as far as the video recording goes. And this will maybe make it easier for people who are looking to watch our videos and not have to zoom through that first 30 minutes. So if you don't see that on there anymore, that's why. So we decided to not start the recording until 10 o'clock when the normal session starts, just as a note. And I don't have anything else. So I like court day today. And so
You beat last time. This is excellent.
So we shall, Harney County Court will stand adjourned at 10:55 a.m. Thank you very much. Have a good day.